Hey, what's happening, filthy dog? What's going on? Um, wow, you found my stream quick. I'm still messing around with my volume. Um, if you're listening, how's it sound? How's my audio? Oh, here we go. It's coming out okay. Awesome, thank you. Um, listening to it on my TV, but I can't really. It's kind of hard to gauge that way because I got to echo. Um, Turn my own volume down a little bit. Wow, it's a party. We got a whole bunch of people today. What's going on, fellas? How's it going, Royal? Still getting some artifacts here. I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but I, th I think it's my gain. Let me mess around with my gain a little bit. Yeah, this is too high. Try that right there. That should be good. Okay. Oh well, Bunker, you're in the right place. um, the distro that I'm gonna be installing today on this stream is very modern. Uh, Bleeding edge, actually. It's Gentoo. Oh no, your PS3 gave you a yellow lighted death. That's the worst. Oh my god, I'm so sorry to hear that, Royal. Oh, that's a freaking shame. I'm sorry. It's sad. Um, well, there's a really good video actually on YouTube about the yellow lighted death, and apparently sometimes it's those token or Tonkin capacitors, but other times it's the problem is in the GPU, and the GPU has to be like reballed or something. Let's see if I can find it. Bunker, I do both. I do I try to do most of the compiling on the PS3 itself because it's really not that bad. It's not that slow, but there are certain packages that just they compile like slow as dirt, you know, and I'm impatient, so I do cross compile, and we'll get to that. I'll show you how I do it in this stream. Remind me. Um, Let me see if I can find. Yeah, I use a program called distcc, and yeah, distcc is a really good program. It's for distributed compilation. I can distribute compile jobs to my laptop, which is what I'm using right now. That's what I'm streaming from. And is it this one? A PS3 story, yellow lighted. This is the one. Yeah, if you want some really good information about the yellow lighted death, it's this video here. I'm pretty sure this is the one. It's pretty long. And also in this video they talk about how to make Frankenstein PS3s. Basically they take the GPU out of a newer PS3 and they shoehorn it onto the older motherboards because it wouldn't fit otherwise. So yeah. Oh, here's the fixes that people usually did with the token resistors or the token capacitors. Well, yeah. If you want to learn about the yellow lead death and like what it's usually caused by, this is a really, really good video to watch. PS3 story, yellow leaded death. Okay. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna log in to my PlayStation 3 over the network. It's currently booted into a Gentoo installation. The way I've got my PS3 set up right now is kind of weird. Okay. Alright, now I'm logged into my PS3 over the network. There's my system information. There's my CPU. Is my text big enough? You should be able to read this. If I make it any bigger, it's going to be cartoonishly large. Or is that better? That's probably too big, right? That's kind of hard for me to look at. All right, I'm gonna go back to this. You should be able to read this. Okay. Yeah. I got my PS3 set up. I've got the hard drive partitioned. I've got a smaller partition, which is the one that I'm booted into right now, which was originally for Fedora 12. I like running Fedora 12 on my PS3 because all the cell CPU development tools they were developed for Fedora, and all of their like install files are compatible with Fedora, like they're available as RPMs and things like that. So I like to keep a Fedora 12 installation on my PS3. That's normally that would normally be installed on the partition that we're in right now. I just happen to have Gentoo on this because I was experimenting with different setups and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do in this stream is I'm going to go ahead and install. I'm going to do another Fedora, not Fedora. I'm going to do another Gentoo install, but we're going to be putting it on the big partition. Forgot my password for a minute. Here's the layout of the PS3's hard drive. It's there it is. Yeah, PS3 DD. That's what Gentoo recognizes as the PS3's hard drive. So I got three partitions here. I've got PS3 DD1. That's the big one. That's 136 gigabytes. I've got PS3 DD2. That's the one that we're currently booted into. This one's 80 gigabytes. Normally, I would have Fedora on this partition. And then this last partition, PS3 DD3, is obviously a swap partition. That's 4 gigabytes. Now I'm pretty sure I've copied over all of my important files from my other Gentoo installation, the one that's on PS3 DD2, or the one that's on PS3 DD1. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unmount that partition. It's mounted here at /mnt/Gentoo. I'm gonna unmount that and I'm gonna format it, and then we're gonna do a Gentoo installation onto that partition, and then we're gonna reboot into it, and I'll show you how I do that. All right. Unmount. Oh, whoops-a-daisy. U-mount. /mnt/gentoo. Now I'm going to format that partition. Yes, Royal, I can almost guarantee you should be able to use Gentoo on your slim PS3 as long as you can jailbreak it and as long as you can install custom firmware that supports other OS++. Yes, you should be able to install Gentoo. As a matter of fact, let me show you something really interesting. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but this will be helpful for you. I've got too many bookmarks here. I can't find the one that I'm looking for. No, that's not it. Oh, this is it right here. Yeah. My friend from Poland is working on this project. His name's Damien. You might see him come into the stream later. If he sees that I'm streaming, he'll usually come by and say hi. Yeah, this is a live USB, see, that he's developing, and I kind of want to work on this project as well. But you should be able to boot this live USB on your PlayStation 3 in Petit Boot, and you should be able to install Gentoo from this live USB. I know this address is really long and it's really hard to read, and it's really confusing. Let me I'll paste it to the chat so you can check out this page. But yeah, this is a live install USB for Gentoo. I'm not going to be using it in this stream, and I haven't used it yet, so I can't vouch for it officially. But this guy knows what he's doing, so it should work. Here is the here's the address of the live USB. Yeah, check that out and give it a try. It should work for you. Okay, now we're going to format the partition that we just unmounted. So and do makefs. Fun fact: you have to use ext3 file system if you're doing Gentoo on the PlayStation 3. For some reason, when Gentoo formats a PS3 hard drive partition, when you use ext4, the bootloader Petit Boot that boots your Linux installations, it can't recognize the partition that Gentoo formatted. So yeah, I found that out the hard way. So for whatever reason, if you're formatting PS3 partition under Gentoo, you have to use ext3 like this. Oh, oopsie daisy. It would be good if I gave it a partition to format, right? And yeah, it's going to be PS3 DD1. Okay, this won't take too long. Yeah, this partition's only 136 gigabytes. I used to have a 1 terabyte drive in my PS3, and I'm kind of kicking myself now that I took it out and I used it for something else. The drive I have in the PS3 now is 200 and something gigabytes, which is still pretty large, but I mean, I could use more space. Eventually, I'll pick up another SSD. Oh, by the way, I am using a SSD, a solid-state hard drive in the PS3. I find that everything you do in Linux runs like so much faster. It's like way snappier when you have a SSD hard drive in the PS3. So I highly recommend putting an SSD in there. Oh yeah. Oh, you could swap, hard drives in the PS3 just like on the fly, as long as they have the same as long as they have the same firmware basically installed onto that drive. You can just swap them out like on the fly. You can just I used to do that like when I was switching installations between Yellow Dog and Fedora. I would have Yellow Dog on one drive and I would have Fedora on the other, and yeah, you just swap them out as long as they have the same firmware. PS3 doesn't care. Okay, so we've formatted the partition where we're going to do the install, so I'm going to remount it, and since I have this mount instruction in my fstab file, all I have to do is run mount-a, and that will remount all of my fstab partitions. So we check out the contents of mnt/gentoo. There's now nothing on there. It's an empty partition. We just have a lost and found directory, which I'm just going to leave it there. It's not hurting anything. Okay, so let's switch over to the empty partition. Okay, sorry, my cat loves to interrupt my streams. It's okay, she's old. /Gentoo. Go over there. You have room. Good girl. Okay, what am I doing? I'm already in that directory. Okay. So for installing Gentoo, I'm going to go to the Gentoo website. And click on the Get Gentoo button. We're going to pick the PowerPC editions of the Stage 3 install archive. And today we're going to be installing PPC 64 Stage 3. I'm going to do the systemd. The systemd version of Gentoo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that link like that, so I can paste it into my terminal and use wget to download it. Like that.
Kitty cat, lay down.
Okay, we've downloaded the Stage 3 tarball. Now we have to extract it. There's a special command for extracting this tarball, and you can find it under Gentoo handbook. You're gonna look under PPC 64, and we're gonna start here, installing the Gentoo install files. Scroll down. Let me make this bigger for you so you can read it. Let's see, we've already done all this. We can skip this. Skip it. Okay, we're gonna start here at unpacking the tarball. So copy this command and paste it into your terminal. Now, what's in this tarball is basically a rudimentary Gentoo Linux system. Basically, it's the bare bones basics of what you need to run Gentoo. It's a bunch of packages that some of which we're going to end up recompiling anyway. You know, after the install is done, but yeah, these tarballs are pretty big, so it's going to take a minute to extract. You guys like my RoboCop background? You know why I've been all about RoboCop recently? I've been playing the new RoboCop Rogue City game on my Xbox, and holy crap, that's a fun game. I do endorse, if you haven't played RoboCop yet on console, the new game, I highly suggest it. Yeah, Filthy. It's just a habit, I guess. I'm a creature of habit, and I don't like change very much. I'm used to System D. You know, OpenRC is nice, and I've tested it out. I've tried it before, but I find that the more I get used to System D, and the more I live with System D, the more I kind of like it. I do prefer the original, the sysv init system that like the old Linuxes used to use. But yeah, I've been making an effort to learn how System D works, and you know, since it is like the most popular init system in the Linux world, it's really good to know. And using it on Gentoo is kind of forcing me to learn how to like manipulate the unit files and things like that. It's really good knowledge to have. So, and it works really well on the PS3. So, yeah. So like no like particular reason. I just it's just kind of a habit. System D. Now, if I relist the contents of this directory, we basically have, as you can see here, we have an entire Linux file system pretty much ready to go almost. It's just missing a few configuration files and things like that, so that's what we're going to be setting up in this install. Now I can delete the stage 3 tarball because we're done with that, so delete that file. It's rather large. All right. Let's see where we're at. What's next? Oh, this is where we set up our make.conf file. I'm actually going to be copying a lot of my original make.conf file because I've already got one set up with the settings that I like to use. And I don't have to use Nano at the moment. I can use Vim because I like Vim better than Nano. Okay. Here's our use flags and all the other kind of flags that we're going to use in this installation. I'm going to make a few changes to this file. I don't use the pipe option when I'm compiling because it uses more memory, and the PS3 doesn't really have a whole lot of memory, so I take out that option. Oh yeah, those SPUs are great at what they do. Unfortunately, in the Linux world, there's very little software that actually takes advantage of them. Yeah, there was a few projects that were going on, back in the day when Sony still supported Linux on the PS3, but around about 2010 when Sony killed it. Yeah, all the projects that were being developed for Linux that utilized the SPU cores on the Cell Broadband engine, they all just got abandoned. You can still find them, you can still find the remnants of projects that were developed to use the SPU cores on the PS3, but they're all basically experimental and they're kind of unfinished. They're really interesting if you're into programming. You can study them, and learn about how the CPU works. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, in Linux, you're pretty much always going to be stuck on the PPU core. Which is, it's not super. It's very efficient. I mean, I'll give it that. It's a very efficient core. It runs very cool, but yeah, it struggles with some of the more intensive, more CPU intensive jobs. Oh, you know what? I usually put this elsewhere. I'm gonna put something else here. I'm gonna put make ops here at the bottom. And since the PS3, the PPU core is dual threaded, we're gonna set the jobs to 2 jobs, parallel jobs at once. That should be good. Now, I'm going to copy some of the settings from my current make.conf file, the one that resides on the partition the installation that we're running right now. It's in etc/portage/make.conf. Okay, yeah, I'm going to copy some of these over so that we can save a little bit of time during the install. I copy my Gentoo mirrors. Yeah, see, unfortunately, if you want to use the if you need programs that are going to use the SPU cores on the PS3, you've got to program it yourself. Basically, you've got to write the program yourself. It's unfortunate. I blame Sony. I don't think Sony supported the cell CPU as much as they could have. Um, I think it was a one of Ken Kutaragi's like pet projects. It was like this fancy technology that it was his vision, but I don't think Sony was 100% behind it, to tell you the truth. Let's see, we've set our flags, make ops. Okay, I'm gonna copy some other settings into my make.conf file. Like here, I've got use flags here that I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna copy my input devices. I'm also going to put this video cards equals fbdev. I agree. Tree, yes, you are 100% right. The PS3 was a freak of nature, basically, but it was ambitious, and they shoehorned a lot of computing power, and that's what Ken Kutaragi wanted. He wanted to bring like basically supercomputing technology and distribute it across like every household, and he succeeded. I mean, the largest like parallel computing project in the world is still the folding the protein folding project that was built for to run on the PS3s under Game OS. I mean, it did some amazing things. They did put cell broadband engine CPUs in a few supercomputers, namely, well, the one that comes to mind right now is one called the Roadrunner supercomputer. I think it was in Los Alamos, or one of them western cities that they installed it. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the first, Folding at Home was the program. The first supercomputer that broke the petaflop, or like 1 million or 1 billion petaflop, or no, just one petaflop, whatever, barrier. It was a cell supercomputer. It had cell broadband engine technology built into it. I think they used the IBM QS21 like server, like rack servers. Don't quote me on that, but I'll look it up. Let me get the rest of this file copied over. I'm going to copy accept license to everything. Like that. Put my accept keywords. I'm going to change that to PPC64. And I'm going to copy my features here, my features variable. I hope no Gentoo devs are watching my stream right now, because if they are, then they'll be really mad at me for doing this. but on the PS3, I disable sandboxing. So you see, Portage, when it builds, when it's compiling your programs that you want to install, it likes to sandbox everything. It puts everything into its own little like secure sandbox section of like memory, and it's good. I mean, it's a good thing for like more powerful computers, but unfortunately, it slows down. It slows down Portage, makes it run slower on the PS3, and it takes more memory. And those are two things that you really got to watch out for, on the PS3. So we don't need that little bit of extra security. I don't think that the sandboxing will provide. So I turn off sandboxing, and I won't apologize for it. All right, that should be good for our make.conf file. Okay, we're on to the next section here. I don't need to run mirror select because I've already copied my mirror sites that I want to use over to the that make.conf file. I'm gonna do this one here. Copy this file over. And just to make sure that it copied correctly, I'm gonna cat the contents of the file. There it is. Okay, it's in the right place. Oh, you like Arch? Well, the Gentoo installation is basically just the same as Arch. I mean, the only major difference is you compile things. But there's a couple differences, I guess, but nothing major. Okay, here is our DNS server information. We need that. Let me show you the contents of that file. It's called resolve.conf. I've got this set up for my own my own network here at my house, but if you want to set up your DNS or your resolve.conf file in your etc directory, you set it up like this. These are your DNS servers. I chose these because they're what Comcast uses, and they're pretty fast. But you could also just use 8.8.8.8. That's 8.8.8.8. Yeah, you could use that one. That's Google's DNS server. It works anywhere, and it's very fast. But I use these, so. Okay, that's all set. Yeah, the Gentoo handbook is pretty good. Yeah, if you actually, I mean, obviously, I'm kind of like power running speed running my way through it, but like I have like sat down and actually read the information about what we're doing, and it explains things pretty good. There's a few things that I wish it would have told you like earlier, that it should, like connecting to like rsyncing from the emerge Portage servers. They should tell you that you're not supposed to do that more than once a day, or else they'll ban you. Because the book just kind of says here, the handbook just kind of says here, if you want to update your system to the latest and greatest, of the Gentoo packages that are available, just do this, emerge rsync. And if you're not careful, or if you have to do if you mess something up and you have to do another reinstall on the same day, you might get yourself banned you could get a temporary ban from the Gentoo servers, because they're very stingy about their bandwidth for some reason. Yeah, they don't want you updating your system more than once a day, I guess. Yeah, and the fucking oops, I'm trying not to curse. The stupid handbook doesn't tell you that. So if you're like a newbie and like you have to do the installation more than once in a day, or God forbid 3 times, yeah, they'll freaking yeah, they'll do. It's weird. Where am I at? Okay, I did make our Gentoo sys. Okay. Now we're going to do this one. Oh, whoopsie daisy. I pasted the command in the wrong place. There we go. Alright, we're back on track. Okay, now we've mounted our basically what we just did there was we mounted all of our like fake file systems, the file systems that are generated by the kernel when it boots, like your proc file system, your sys file system, and your dev file system, and also the run directory. Yeah, what we basically did is we copied those mounted directories into what's going to be our chrooted environment. I know that's what I was. You got to be careful. You don't. I don't know. When whoever wrote the Gentoo handbook, they put the information. Maybe they fixed it by now. But the first time that I installed Gentoo, yeah, they don't mention that you could get banned for doing the doing rsync more than once a day. They don't mention it until like later in the install manual. So. I guess it's your fault for not reading the whole thing first, right? Yeah, okay. Alright, now we're going to chroot into our new environment that we've got set up. Now, I'm going to use the instructions from a different web page. There's a Gentoo alternate install, which is kind of what I'm doing. Since I'm installing Gentoo not from the install media, I'm installing it from another running partition, running installation. So the commands that we want are down here at the bottom of this page. Right there. Copy this right here. They don't mention it? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a crappy that's a crappy practice. They really should warn you. Not to use too much of their precious bandwidth, you know what I mean? Okay, the only thing I'm going to change here is I'm going to put the full path of Chroot. As a matter of fact, let me find out where that is. Okay, it's in /usr/sbin. So let's put that here. Now when I run this, we will be in our new environment, like that. We are now Chrooted into the new my partition number 1, basically we're Chrooted into like our what's going to be our new installation, basically. I'm going to run this right here. And that doesn't take very long. And we're going to source etc profile. Oop. Wrong button. Okay. Now I can close this page. That's all I needed from there. Now we're going to I'm going to run this so that our prompt says Chroot, like that. Okay, we can skip all this stuff. I've already got a bootloader on the PS3. And go ahead and run emerge-webrsync. Now this is safe to run. You can run this as many times as you want, all day long. They don't care. Just for some reason, the dangerous command that might get you like temporarily banned from their servers is this one right here. Don't run this command more than like once a day. I found that out the hard way. We're gonna go with this one for now. Now this process is gonna take like 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm gonna take this opportunity. My mouth is getting kind of dry. I'm gonna go get some more coffee. So give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Here's some music. There, see? I told you this process was gonna take a minute. It'll be finished in a second. It's probably verifying, like cryptographically, it's probably verifying that the download is, what it's supposed to be. That can take a minute. Okay, wow, look at all the news items we got to read. It's gonna keep bothering me to read these news items. Like, it's gonna bug me every time that I run Portage or emerge. So I'm gonna go ahead and read those when I get a prompt back. Okay. I'm gonna run eSelect. Read. Forgot the command. Read news? Oh no, I think it's news read. Hold on, it's on the web page. Yeah, it's eSelect news read. Let me go ahead and do a emerge sync really quick first, because I do want to have the most up to date versions of the packages to install. So go ahead and run this dangerous command, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have to run it again today. This command also takes a minute. It has to it's updating its database. Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of options when it comes to Linux on the PS3. I mean, back in the day, obviously, when Sony still supported the feature, the other OS feature on PlayStation 3, yeah, there was some really exciting work being done. Porting some of the more popular distros over to the to the PS3's platform. Ubuntu released a like a PS3 spin, I guess. Fedora, obviously. And I think people were able to install the PowerPC versions of Debian. Is it Debian or Debian? I call it Debian. It's probably wrong. And yeah, there was a Gentoo. I think the Stage 3 Gentoo tarball actually worked on the PS3 back then. It doesn't anymore though. If you're gonna install Gentoo on the PS3, you kind of have to do a customized install. But yeah, I think the most recent quasi distro that was released for the PS3 is Red Ribbon, and I kind of consider Red Ribbon to be an unfinished project. It seems like something somebody started and then they just gave up on it. It's Debian based. Yeah, it's a little bit newer than like the Fedora 12, which is what I always used to use on the PS3 before I discovered Gentoo. And I think it uses kernel like 3 dot something maybe. It's still pretty old, but one nice thing about Red Ribbon, probably the only nice thing about Red Ribbon, is you can use it as a like a platform for installing Gentoo. I'm pretty sure it works as far as, it works for that. Like if you partition your PS3's other OS section, if you partition it like I have mine partitioned into several partitions, you can install Red Ribbon onto one partition, like a very small one, like that you're never going to use basically, and use that Red Ribbon installation to install Gentoo onto like a separate, a third partition on the hard drive. But hopefully that'll change pretty soon, because like I said before, my buddy Damien started working on that Gentoo installer for the PS3, and like I said, I haven't tested it yet, so I can't I can't vouch for it like that in that sense, but he seems to know his shit. I mean, he knows Gentoo better than I do. He's been using it longer, so and he's also got more PS3s than I do. He's got like 8 PS3s. He's PS3 rich. Okay, as you can see, this command, this emerge -- sync, this also takes a little bit of time to finish, but I'm not planning on using it again today, so it's, oh yeah, I forgot to read my news items. Let's go ahead and read those. Now it's telling us that Portage has an update, and it wants us to run emerge one-shot sysapps Portage. I'm gonna skip that for this install. I'm gonna do it later, but we'll get to it. Let me just read my news items first. Oh, that's very interesting. Look at all that important news. How about that? Okay, we've read our news items. Now emerge is gonna stop pestering me to read those. And we're ready to move on. So, we have to choose a profile. What do you think? Should I go ahead and do that before World Update? Maybe you're right. Let me pick a profile, and then and maybe we'll do the Portage update. I'm probably already on a good profile. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is the one that I want. Number 7. UPC 64. System D merged user stable. Yeah, that looks right. All right, we're gonna keep this profile. And I'm gonna take your advice, filthy dog. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Portage update first. Where did that command go? Oh, it's above the news. Forgot I read all this news. And here we go. Okay, I'm gonna run this command here. We're gonna update Portage. So this is the first thing that we're gonna be building on our installation here. Hopefully it won't take too long. Oh, look, it's done already. Is Portage a binary? Or is Portage just a script? It says it's compiled already. Wow, that was fast. Oh, never mind, I'm stupid. We're emerging 5 different packages. That was just the first one. That's silly me. Alright, well, while Portage is updating, I do have a kind of something to keep me busy. You guys ever seen Rumble Roses? Rumble Roses is a PS2 game, and it's pretty fun to play. It's pretty entertaining. Let's do this for a little while. Turn the volume up for you. Oh, here we go. This will do it. Okay. Oh no, I lost. Want a rematch. I suck at this game, by the way. Hey! Oh, I suck at all wrestling games. I'm just terrible at them. I'm the one in red. Oh no, she got me again. Bitch. Oh, she pinned my ass. There you go, take that. How you like that? Oh, about some of this. ropes. On my laptop, I'm using Fedora. It's a brand new install, actually. Brand new installation. This is Fedora 39. Now I'm winning. Yeah, now I'm kicking her ass. No! But she got me. Crap. Ouch. Stop it. How'd I get outside the ring? I don't know how to get back in. Oh, there we go. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Boom! Oh, I got this match. I got this match. I got a pinner. I love those chats. She threw me out the ring again. Damn it. Come on. There we go. I got you, man.
You little. Hey!
Oh, I don't know how I did that, but it looks like it hurt. Take that. Oh crap, I'm on the ropes. Threw me on the ropes. Oh, she clotheslined me to the head. There we go. Now I got it. Now I'm gonna win. I feel it. Yeah.
Mom, I hope you are watching.
Yeah, that was a fluke. I actually suck at this game. Maybe I can change characters. I'm gonna try Aisha. She looks pretty tough. Crap, I hope this music's not copyrighted. Guess I'll find out in a minute. Let's see where we're at with Portage here. Okay, we're on package number 3 of 5. We're emerging Ninja. Ninja's kind of like a new age kind of build system, I guess I would call it. I kind of like the old school versions of the build system, like auto tools and automake and stuff like that. But Ninja is a very new type of build system, or build script, I guess. Oh no, PCSX2. I'm running that on my laptop. Yeah, PCSX2. That's running here on where I'm streaming from. This is my laptop. What you see here in the terminal, that's the PlayStation. I don't even have a like a GUI desktop environment installed yet. It's just a very rudimentary system at the moment. So yeah, that's PCSX2. That's on my laptop. So full disclosure. Damn, how am I doing this good? Do I have it set on easy? Making me look like a pro. Uh-oh, she got me. Oh, she really got me. Oh, right in the cooter. Yeah, how do you like it? Oh no! Kick me in the face. I was doing better with the other wrestler. There we go. There we go. Now I got her. I kicked her in the face. Oh no, she's pulling my hair. There we go. There, take that. Take that. Oh, she's kicking my ass. Whoa, I don't know how I did that. That looks like it hurt. Oh. I kept missing it. There you go. How do you like that? Uh-oh, she got me. Nope, she don't got me. I got hurt. Okay. Kick her in the face. How do you like that? That's what you get. I got that spinner. Alright, I got this match. Nope, not yet. I just flopped on the floor. Fancy move. Alright. try that again. Alright, how do I pin? There we go. Like that. Crap. Yeah, this bitch is tough. I did it.
Ain't no thing. Guess I'm just too smooth for you.
Damn, Ninja's taking a while to build. We're just about halfway through it now. Yeah, Ninja's going pretty slow. I thought ninjas were fast. Play some Dead or Alive. Okay, good. I got the background music turned down. I'm so afraid of like copyright music, copyright strikes or whatever. I don't need that kind of heat. No siree. Oh, goody gumdrops. Ninja's at
Make
20
up your
out of
mind.
34.
You can't
See?
stand in my way.
Oh, 21 out of 34. See? Watch this number down here. That tells you how far along our build is going. We're at 22 out of 34, so it'll be done in a minute. Oh no, this guy's on my ass already. I didn't get a hit in. What do I have?
You lose.
The storm is about to rage.
Get ready, fight!
There we go. That's better. Do it again. How about that? That's much better.
Winner!
This is Mugen Tenshin style.
Get ready, fight!
I cheated. I hit him before the bell.
Winner!
I have to move on. Forgive me.
This is going to be a good match.
You can't stand in my way.
Get ready, fight!
Oh, sneaky. How about that? There. Now I'm on the other side.
KO.
That's better.
Winner.
I'll win this battle.
Get ready, fight!
I cheated again.
Winner.
This is Mugen Tenshin style.
Damn, Ninja's
Shall I start?
taking its time
You
compiling.
can't
What's
stand
the
in my
matter?
way.
What's the
Get
problem?
ready, fight!
This dirty old man.
Great! Winner.
Sorry. Are you okay?
Get ready, fight!
You know, that's a pretty good idea. A Gentoo wiki page. To be honest, like what I was thinking about doing is taking the Gentoo installer, like for PowerPC, like the one that is released currently, and kind of converting it so that it'll work on the PS3.
Lazy bones!
Yeah, here, let me show you. I mean, while Ninja's being built, yeah, what I was thinking about doing is, let me open up a new tab. If you take the live installer for PowerPC, this live installer won't work on the PS3. This one here would be the one that you want to use. PPC64 minimal install CD. Unfortunately, the PS3 has like kind of more of an old school boot procedure that it's not compatible anymore with like these newer PowerPC ISOs. So what I was gonna do, or what I'm planning on doing, is taking this installer. I download it like this. Now, obviously, mind you, that in this terminal tab right here that we're in, this new terminal tab, this is not my PS3 that we're working in. This is on my laptop right here. See, this tab here, that's the PS3. It's still emerging Portage. And then in this tab here, this is my laptop. So, did I just download that to my my home directory? Yes, I did. Oh well, it's a good enough place for it. If I make a place where I can mount that ISO, okay. Now if I switch to that directory, Gentoo installer, here is the contents of the install ISO. yeah, pretty much all I have to do here to convert this to boot on the PS3 is here, this is the directory that has the kernels in it. It's got an IBM Power kernel. That's for like new, like really new Power architecture. And it's got a PPC32 and a PPC64 kernel here. Unfortunately, these won't boot on the PS3. But if I replace these kernels, and if I replace this this file here is an init ramfs file. If I replace these two files with a configuration that will boot on the PlayStation 3, then probably with very little bit more work, I can have a bootable Gentoo installer for the PS3. So that's a project that I was that I'll probably be working on like in the immediate future. But that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try to contribute a wiki page on the Gentoo website. I do have an account there. Like I think I've contributed one thing before, and it was accepted. I contributed. They have pages where, like, for the different architectures, they have different like compiler flags that are safe to use for all the different architectures. And for for the cell processor, they had like mCPU equals cell and mtune equals cell, which is what I also use. But I added some more. You can also add mno_string and mno_multiple. Those are safe to use on the PS3, and what they do is they tell the compiler to avoid using these certain opcodes that are very expensive on the cell broadband engine. They can cause your threads to stall, and they're like composite instructions that have to be decomposed into simpler instructions before they can be executed. So you want to avoid using them. So I contributed. Hey, our Portage is done updating. Goody gumdrops. Now we can. I'm gonna run this, but I'm probably not gonna do all the updates that it wants me to do, because sometimes it tells you that it wants to do a lot of updates. Let's give it a shot and see what it says. Oh no. You scared me, filthy pit dog. No, that wasn't a failure. Julian, what's going on, buddy? No, yeah, it's Portage is very finicky. I guess it has to be to some extent, but yeah, these are all just warnings. Like here, unable to find kernel. That's because on this partition, I don't have a kernel installed yet. Yeah, this is just a warning. And I think it also says it detected collisions. Yeah, it detected this collision. But since no package claimed the file, it went ahead and installed it anyway. So we're good. Oh yeah, look at all these updates it wants me to do. Fuck that. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that on stream. We'll do that later. Okay. Onward and upward. Let's see where we're at. I've already configured my use variables. See what's next. Oh, CPU flags. Let's do that. I need to emerge this package really quick. This is not a very large emerge. This is pretty small. I think this is just a script, so there's nothing to compile. So let's go ahead and emerge CPU ID 2 flags or whatever it's called. Yeah, don't worry, this one will go very fast. There, see? Source compiled, it's already finished. So that was a nice quick emerge. Run the program, see if it works. Yes, it does. These are my CPU flags. We want to turn on the AltiVec accelerators. Well, registers, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna run this command here. Okay, now Portage knows to use that flag when it's available. We've already set up our video cards variable, so that's done. We've already set up our accept license variable, that's done. And skip down here. Okay, here's where the installation splits off between doing a OpenRC or a systemd install. I'm doing a systemd, so I'll be following the systemd instructions. Here's our time zones, our available time zones. We're gonna use the ones in US, so I list those. There should be one called Eastern. Yes, there it is. So that's the one that we're going to use. Well, that's the one that I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do is delete this right here and replace it with US/Eastern. Oh wait, never mind, I screwed up already. I mean, not bad. I'm just going to delete this file. We don't need this for the systemd installation. This is for OpenRC. Chat, why didn't you tell me? Never mind. I don't even have to delete that file. It's just going to sit there and do nothing, but I'm gonna delete it anyway. etc/time zone. Yeah, that's for an OpenRC install. Alright. This is the one I want. We're gonna create a symlink instead. And that's gonna set up our time zone. I'm gonna change these directories here. I'm gonna change this to US, Eastern. Like that. Okay. We're back on track. Hey, we're doing locales. We gotta edit this file here, and since we're chrooted into our what's gonna be our new installation, unfortunately, and I don't know why this is the case, we have no Vim. The Gentoo Stage 3 tarballs, they don't ship with Vim. They ship with everything else under the sun, but no VI and no Vim. They give you Nano, and I think that's a crime, to tell you the truth. Alright, this is the file we're going to update. I'm going to add a locale. This one right here, EN US UTF-8. Okay, and then we run this right here, localgen. Okay, now we're going to list our locales. There they are. I'm going to set mine to number 4 for English US. Okay, we're done with this page. I'm just gonna run this command here to update our environment. And if I'm not mistaken, next step is the kernel. Now I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Well, first I'm gonna go ahead and install the firmware. Just for the sake of completeness. This will take a few minutes because there's nothing to compile, but it's just a large archive of firmwares for the kernel. And there's my use flags. I'm not going to change any of those. Those are fine. Yeah. You'll see, this is a pretty big download. It's like a pretty large file. See? I'm gonna go ahead and let it install these firmwares, and yeah, it's just gonna take a minute or two to copy all the files. Like I said, there's nothing to compile, so it's just a large amount of files it's copying, basically. Anyway, but yeah, so if you're wondering what my next project is that I really want to work on, I mean, other than learning about cell programming, it's this right here. I want to develop a like a custom Gentoo installer that will boot on the PS3. And like I said, I don't think it'll be that hard. because I can already see the files here that I need to replace. You know, with files that'll work on the PS3. And the Gentoo install ISO is pretty simple. I mean, this is most of it right here. This squashfs image, that's basically the file system image that you're gonna mount and use during the install. So as long as I have a kernel that can mount squashfs images, which I generally do build, yeah, then I should be able to convert this install ISO to boot on the PS3, which I think a lot of people would find very useful, helpful. So that's kind of like, it's not on the back burner, that's on the front burner. I really want to get into that as soon as possible. There, see what I mean? It's not compiling anything for this this package, the Linux firmware's package. It's just a whole bunch of little binaries that it has to copy to the file system, so that's why it takes a little while. But yeah, it'll be done in a minute. You know, it's just a large amount of files. And it's also compressing them too, so. And there's what my PS3 is doing right now. And it's basically just at a login screen. You can ignore those little kernel messages that are kicked out. Every so often, the kernel tries to write to the PS3's firmware, and yeah, it sends a message out to the screen. So that's why there's a bunch of text on the screen. But yeah, that's just a login screen. You would never know that we're, that the PS3 is secretly compiling its own operating system right now. It just looks like it's doing nothing. Oh, there you go. Yeah, give that a shot. A custom firmware. I would suggest one that supports other OS++, so you can do Linux. And yeah, like I said, that installer that I showed you, that my buddy Damien from Poland is working on, I would give that a shot. I'd give that a try. I'm surprised he's not in chat today. Usually he likes to come and say hi and hang out on my streams. Maybe he'll come by later. But yeah, he knows his Gentoo. Like I said, he knows it better than I do, so he's been using it longer. Hey, what's happening, Alf? What's going on? Yeah, that would be my suggestion. My suggestion. If you can get Petit Boot up in booting on the PS3, then a Gentoo install should be no problem with that live USB that I showed you. Like I said, I haven't tried it out myself yet, but I have faith in Damien. He's a smart guy. Alrighty, our firmwares are installed. That's finished. Oh hey, what's up, Brad? I'm glad you enjoy my stream. What's my motivation? I love the Cell Broadband engine. It's kind of like the thing that's gotten me back into programming, and it's kind of like the thing that I'm most passionate about right now. I know it's a dead technology. I know that it's it never went anywhere. It's a dead end, and it's kind of it's going nowhere. But still, a lot of the things that I'm learning from learning how to program the cell is they could be applied to like other projects and things like that. Like it's not all just mental masturbation that I'm working on. Oh. Hey, there's Josh. That's my buddy Josh. But to be honest, I mean, if I'm gonna be if I'm like 100%, I think the PlayStation 3 is kind of like my autistic special interest. I don't bring it up too much like on my channel, but I'm pretty sure I'm somewheres on the autism community, and because I've had like a few things throughout my life that have become like special interests that I've like really gotten into, and like became like a like a human encyclopedia about. And that's the thing that like autistic people tend to do. We get special interests, and that's not the only reason why I'm probably there's a lot of reasons, but yeah, I think that's just one of those things. I love the PS3. I want to know everything there is to know about it, and that includes the cell processor. And like I said, it's gotten me back into programming, so it's it can't be all bad, right? I hope that answers your question. Okay, next we're going to be installing the Gentoo. This is the Gentoo kernel sources that we're installing right now. I'm gonna go ahead and install these just, you know, to pull in these other packages, elfutils, libelf, and cpio, and all these things because they're important and I want to have them on my system. But we're not going to use this kernel. I have my own kernel that we're going to use. So yeah, I'm going to install this, but we're not going to use it. So actually, you know what? Actually, since I'm going to be installing elfutils, I'm going to change a few use flags. I want to turn on LZ. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. Never mind. It's just going to pull in more packages, and I don't want to pull in all those packages on this particular stream. I kind of want to try and speed run this install. So I'm just going to leave these use flags alone, and maybe I'll change them later and reinstall these packages, but yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. As a matter of fact, tell you what, we can do two things at once, because this install here, these packages that I'm pulling in, I mean, they're not going to take forever, but they are going to take a few minutes. So let's go ahead and get our kernel set up, the one that I'm actually going to use, right? Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. Let me open up a new terminal tab, like that. And we're also going to sign it. We're going to sign into the PS3 again on this, you know, in this tab, like so. Okay, I'm logged into the PS3 on both of these tabs. In this one, I'm chrooted into the environment that we're installing, but in this one, I am not. So this is just the regular installation that we're signed into. What's up? What's up, Z? Z? How's it going? Welcome to my stream. Oh, hey, did you really? Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly how I have mine set up. 3.15 decks. Did you set up other OS yet? And did you get Petit Boot installed? That's good news. Okay, now I just changed directories into my /boot directory. Let me show you the contents. If you're ever wondering where does your kernel live, it lives here in your /boot directory. If you look in here, this is the kernel. At least that's the kernel that I'm using right now. VM Linux 6.6.8. This is the first iteration of this kernel. Oh, very cool, Dennis. Very cool. And yeah, this is the naming convention that I use for the kernels that I build. Now, this kernel is kind of agnostic. It doesn't really care where it boots or what it boots into. It'll boot any like any Linux installation on the PS3. So I can answer that. The best reason for downgrading your PS3, if you can, down to 3.15 firmware, is it allows you to install Fedora 12. Fedora 12 from in my experience, Fedora 12 is only compatible with a downgraded PlayStation 3, and the reason for that is because of the hard disk, the hard drive that gets mapped as the hard drive for Linux. On the older firmwares, your hard drive gets mapped as /dev/PS3DA. That's the hard disk, and that's where Fedora tries to do its install. However, if you're on custom firmware, like if you're on a later firmware and you install custom firmware to do other OS++, the only difference is in other OS++, the hard disk is mapped as PS3DD, and Fedora 12 doesn't recognize that drive. It won't install there for whatever reason. So yeah, the best reason for downgrading a PS3 is so that you can install Fedora 12. Now, why Fedora 12? Why such an old distro? You know, what's so good about Fedora 12? Well, it just so happens that all of the Cell Broadband Engine development tools that were released by IBM are all compatible with Fedora 12. They can install on Fedora 12, you can use them on Fedora 12, they work perfectly on Fedora 12. They were actually developed for Fedora 9, to tell you the truth, but they work on 12. So if you're interested in developing for the Cell Broadband Engine CPU and learning how it works and learning how to manipulate the SPU cores and the accelerators and things like that, then your best bet is to use Fedora 12, because that's where all the tools for doing that. That's the easiest place to install them. Now that I'm getting into Gentoo here, I'm actually, one of my projects that I want to do is I want to migrate some of those development tools, from the Fedora RPMs and the source RPMs, and migrate them over to Gentoo so I can use them here. Yeah, a lot of people wonder, I mean, why do you run Fedora 12? I mean, it's so old, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's a reason. It's because I like to learn about the Cell CPU, and that's where all the tools are. So, and I haven't migrated them yet to any other distributions. I'm working on it though. Anyway, here's the kernel that we're going to use on the new installation of Gentoo. It just happens to be the same exact kernel that I'm using right now. So what I can do is go ahead and sudo copy vmlinux blah blah blah. I'm going to copy it over to the partition, the boot directory, on the partition where we're doing the installation right now. It's going to be /mnt/gentoo/boot. Oh, I forgot, I don't have sudo installed on this system yet. I have to switch users to root. Yeah, I don't have sudo on this current installation. This is not a finished installation. I kind of got halfway through it and then I decided to do something different. That's why we're installing from a partition that already has Gentoo on it. I decided to change the install a little bit, so I'm installing back on my other partition, the bigger partition. Anyway, let's change back to the boot directory. I'm going to go ahead and copy 3 of these files over to the new installation. So copy vmlinux, copy it to mnt/gentoo, whoops, /boot. There we go. Okay, now it's in its proper place on the new installation. That should be able to boot just fine. We're also going to copy over this file, system map. I'm going to copy that one to the same location. And just for the sake of completeness, We're going to copy the config file to the same location, the boot directory. Now I'm not copying init ramfs because I have to rebuild the init ramfs. This init ramfs will boot onto my current partition, and that's hard-coded into this init ramfs. So if I want to use a init ramfs that will boot to a different partition, I have to rebuild the init ramfs. It's very easy. I'll show you the process. There's one more file that we need to copy over to our new install, and that's in etc. And this is a file called yaboot.conf. It's a very important file on a PS3 Linux system. I copy that over to /mnt/gentoo/etc. Now it's for booting into that partition. It's misconfigured, so I'm gonna edit that file that I just copied over. Alright, this is the yaboot.conf file. This is a very important file for PS3 Linux. This is the file that that PeditBoot will look for when it's looking for information about how to boot into the different whatever installations are on your PS3. They all have to have a /etc/yaboot, because otherwise PeditBoot will not recognize that installation. It won't know how to boot it. A very important fun fact: if you're on a downgraded PS3 like I am, then you're going to want to have this boot variable here set to /PS3DA, and you're going to have your partition variable set to whatever partition that you want it to boot into. Since we're installing this installation onto /dev/PS3DA1, the first partition, we're going to change this number to a 1. And everything else here can stay the same because we're booting the same kernel. I'm going to change this Gentoo-2 to Gentoo-1 because it's Gentoo on the first partition. And now down here at the bottom, these are the arguments that you want to pass to the kernel when it's booting. Now, this kernel, because it has patches applied to it, recognizes the PS3's hard drive as PS3DD. Very important. And since we're going to be booting to the first partition, I'm going to change this 2 to a 1 right there. So that's all the changes that we need to make, but very important. If you're on a downgraded PS3 like I am, then up here, this is the part that PeditBoot is going to read. Well, it reads the whole file, but PeditBoot uses this this variable here to decide which partition it's going to boot. So yeah, you want to have it set as PS3DA here at the top, but down here, on the arguments that you're going to pass to the kernel, it's going to be PS3DD. Very important. PS3DA up here, and PS3DD down here. That's only if you're on a downgraded PS3 like I am. If you're on a custom firmware PS3, and if you're running other OS++, then up here, if I'm not mistaken, you're gonna change that to PS3DD, right? Because that PeditBoot will recognize the PS3's hard drive as PS3DD. But since I'm on a downgraded machine, I gotta change that to A. I hope that's not too confusing. Maybe I'll write up a wiki explaining it. That's probably a good idea. All right, so that's our yaboot.conf. That's finished. That's done. It's ready to go. let's see where our install is at, our emerge. Okay, we're about halfway through emerging these packages onto the PS3, so let's keep working with the kernel that we're going to use. Let's see, alright. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to build our init ramfs file. Let me show you how to do that. I keep mine in, well, I keep the directory that I use for this in /usr/src. Okay, this is also where my current, on my current installation, the one that we're running right now, this is where the kernel lives. You know, that's in this directory. Anyway, I got a couple of things here that I want to copy onto the new system. These are patches that I use when I build kernels for the PS3. There's not too many of them. There's just a few patches here, but these are the reason why the kernel recognizes the PS3's hard drive as PS3DD instead of PS3DA. It's because of, I think, this patch right here, and this one. Yeah, they change how the kernel reads the PS3's hard drive. So, yeah, these are the patches that I applied to my PS3 kernels. I'm going to copy this directory over to the new installation that we're installing. So I'm going to cp rv the patches directory. I'm going to copy that over to /mnt/gentoo /usr/src, like that. I'm going to list the contents of that directory and make sure it worked the way that I wanted it to. Yep, there it is. That's our patches directory. Okay. Next thing that we're going to copy over is the init ramfs directory, because this is the directory that I use to build my init ramfs files. So let's copy that one over. Alright, let me show you the contents of that init ramfs directory, because this is how I build my init ramfs files. What you're looking at here is a file system. It's a Linux file system. It's a very simple, rudimentary Linux file system. And there's a script here called init. Basically what happens is when a kernel boots, when it first boots up on some piece of hardware, and it's ready to transfer control over to like the actual operating system, like a systemd init system or something like that, it looks for this script, a script called init in whatever file system that it has loaded. In this case, it's the init ramfs file system. Now, if you, let me show you the contents of the init script. It's very simple. Yeah, this is all there is to it. I'm not a very good bash programmer. Like, my bash is pretty poor, to tell you the truth. But this is all you need to boot your Linux system. Basically, what this script does is going to mount the kernel's fake file systems /dev/proc/sys/temp, because it needs, well, especially /dev, because if there's no /dev, then you don't have a device to boot into, right? Now here's the here's the command that we need to change. Since we're going to be booting into /dev/ps3da1, and change that to a 1, or ps3dd1, I mean. And I think that's it. I think that's all the changes that we have to make. Nothing up here, nothing here. Let's see, I'm gonna mount ext3. Oh, don't even ask about Python. My Python's even worse than my Bash. Yeah, I have no experience with Python at all, pretty much. Unfortunately, I really should learn it though. It's really popular and it's very useful. I should put some time into learning my Python. So yeah, we're gonna change this device here to ps3dd1. That's because this is the drive that we're gonna boot into. So yeah, that's all the changes that we need to make for our init ramfs. Now we need to compress this into, you know, the actual init ramfs file. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this script right here, compile init.sh. And it's a very simple script again. All it does is it takes the contents of the current directory right here. It runs find on the current directory, and that makes a list of all the files. Then it compresses it into a CPIO archive using gzip, and it's going to spit the file out as my initramfs.igz into the parent directory. And that's all this script does. So if I run that, like so, okay, that script is done. Now if I switch to the parent directory here, back into usr src, there will be a file called my initramfs. There it is. I'm going to copy that and rename it over on the onto the new partition. So cp verbose my initramfs. I'm going to copy that to /mnt /gentoo /boot. And we're gonna rename it. We're gonna call it init ramfs -6.6.8 1 dot ps3 dot gentoo dot ppc64 .img. Okay, that's done. Alright, now we've got our now we've got our boot files all set up. This is everything that you need for the PS3 to boot. We've got our init ramfs right here that we just built. And hopefully we built it right so that it will boot into the partition number 1. This is the kernel that we're going to use. It's the same kernel that I'm running right now. Here's the config file for that kernel. It's just a convention that you save the config file for the kernel in the boot directory. Let me show you what the config file looks like. Whoops. Yeah, this is what a kernel config file looks like. It's all just setting things yes, no, or module. But if you ever wondered what's a kernel config file look like, it's this. but it's very handy to have access to. You always want to have access to your kernel config file so that you're able to look up, you know, which options are turned on and which ones are turned off. Alright, one more thing that we need to copy over is our modules directory. Let me show you where that is. In Linux, your kernel modules are generally saved in /lib/modules. Here it is. This directory contains the modules for our current kernel. There's the contents in case you're interested. Now this symlink here, this is a link to the directory where the kernel was built, or the kernel source code tree, I should say. And I'm going to delete that symlink and then I'm going to recreate it after I copy the directory over to its new home on the other partition. So I'm going to go ahead and remove build. Okay, see, now the directory's gone. Switch to the parent directory. Now we have to create the modules directory in the new partition, the new installation, because I just know for a fact that it doesn't exist yet. So, and I just know that from experience. So we're gonna make directory /mnt/gentoo /lib/modules, like that. Now we can copy this directory over to that new directory that we just created. So we'll do cp/rv, this directory over to /mnt/gentoo /lib/modules. There we go. I'm going to list the contents of that directory to make sure it copied right. So yep, there it is. Alright, now one thing about Gentoo is Gentoo likes to have access to your kernel source code directory. Well, I should say Portage. Portage likes to have access to your kernel source code directory so that it can find your kernel headers and your kernel config file and things like that. So we have to create that on the new installation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change directories to /mnt/gentoo /usr/src. In Gentoo, this is where you keep your kernels, and this is where you build them, basically. Currently, I only have, you remember I copied these two directories over, init, ramfs, and patches. Now, I'm going to download a Linux 6.6.8 kernel, so it matches the one that we're running right now. So let me get the URL for that. There it is. This is the kernel that we're gonna this is the kernel that we're using. So I'm gonna copy that link, download it to this directory with wget. Yeah, it's a real live PS3. Here. I'll show you. There it is. This is the PS3 that we're working on. I'm logged into it over the over the network using SSH. So that's how we're doing all of the work that we're doing. But yeah, this is the PlayStation that we're currently logged into, and this is where we are doing our installation, in case you're wondering. So yeah, it's a true blue PS3. Okay, so we've downloaded our kernel. You know what? The electricity bill's not so bad, but it heats up my room. It makes my room hot. Yeah, it raises the temperature in here several degrees. I'm positive. But you know, the things I do for my community, right? It's not so bad in the wintertime, but in the summer, it kills me. Okay, so here is our kernel that we just downloaded, and hey, look at this. The kernel package from Gentoo is installed. That means that our emerge is finished, or almost finished anyway. Speaking of supercomputers, my dream is to build a cluster. I really want to get my hands on like say four PS3s would make a really cool cluster. You know what I mean? If I could get my hands on a couple more PS3s that I could jailbreak and mess around with, yeah, I would love to put a cluster together and do some real supercomputing. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up this archive for the kernel that we're currently running. So I'm gonna make that directory on, you know, in this directory. Well, yeah. See, that's kind of why I want to. I'm interested in learning these technologies like you know, Kubernetes and things like that. And the best way to learn, you know, like high performance computing and parallel computing, things like that, and like NUMA, NUMA CTL and whatnot, is to do it. You know, so what better way than to do it on PS3s? Oh my goodness, Josh, what are you doing with all those PS3s? 10 with yellow. Do you run a repair shop? You're PS3 rich. Share the wealth. Okay, we have uncompressed our kernel that we're actually going to be using, or that, you know, we're actually booting on the PS3. To follow my own, I can delete that tar archive now. We're done with that. Okay, now this directory here, I'm going to rename it to follow my naming convention that I use for my kernels. So I'm gonna move that directory. I'm gonna change its name to I'm going to add the suffix -1. Oops. .ps3. Gentoo. .ppc64. Okay, that's the directory where our kernel source code lives. That's where it can be found. Now, just to to be complete, and so that it matches. Oh, eBay. Well, that's a crap ton of PS3s you got. That's how many SPU cores are you sitting on? 5 or 6 working. That's... Let's see. Under Linux, you can use 6 of the PS3 cores. Oh, you got 6 times 6 is 36. You got 36 SPU cores. That's a lot of. That's some serious computing you can do. Some serious supercomputing. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and apply my patches, the patches in this directory. I'm gonna apply those to this kernel source code right here, just to make sure it matches with the kernel that I'm actually booting on the PS3. So, change directories to my kernel directory. Now, if you don't know how to apply patches to a oh hey, thanks Josh, good to know. I will keep that in mind. Yeah, this is how you apply patches to a Linux kernel. You enter the top level directory where the kernel source code lives, and you're gonna run patch p1. And then have an arrow pointing to the patch command, and then you're gonna enter the patch that you want to apply. So we're gonna start with this top one here, 009, blah blah blah, like that, and just go down the list and apply them all in order, right? We're gonna go 9. 10, 11, 35, 40. Let me relist the contents of my patches directory because just for convenience. Where was I? We did 40. Now we're on 50, 60, 80. So 50, 60, 80. Let's see where we're at. Need 100, 110, 120. And we're at 160. And then 200, and then 1,000. Okay, those are all the patches that I apply to my my PS3 kernels. Now we need a config file. So if you remember, we copied our config file to the boot directory. So I'm gonna copy that file to our current directory, and we're gonna rename it to .config. So cpv/mnt/gentoo. It's in the boot directory, and it's called config with my suffix here. Now we're going to copy it to the current directory and rename it as .config. Now, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, well, if our emerge is finished, which it definitely is, I can finish this work from my other terminal. So I'm going to log out of this terminal. We've done everything that we needed to do here. So I'll log out and close it. Oh no, that's weird. Your PS3 didn't format the SSD right. One thing I've noticed is that some drives have a tendency to, I don't know why, but they act kind of strange in the PS3. Like there are certain drives that, like, if I use the ext4 file system, the edit boot won't recognize the partitions and stuff. So, and like when I try to install like Fedora 12, like if I like I have one drive here that ext4 won't work on, like it'll fail. I have to use ext3, but then I can use ext4 on a different SSD. So that's a tough one, Dennis. All I can say is that the SSD that I'm using on my PS3 is a Samsung, and so far so good. It's been working for me really well, and that's the drive that I would recommend for people to use on the PS3, because I've had a very good experience with it. But yeah, that's unfortunate, Dennis. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me see. What we're gonna do is let me enter my /usr/ src directory. This is where the kernels are that we just copied over. Oops, I don't have that alias here in this installation yet. Let me create it. There, now I can use LL. Alright, so what we're gonna do, we're not gonna build this kernel, we're just gonna configure it so that it matches the one that we copied over from my previous installation. Enter the Linux 6.6.8 directory. Now, since there's already a config file here for this kernel, all we're going to run is make old config. And what that does is it's going to read the config file that we copied over to this directory. Oh, if you have a Samsung SSD hanging around, yeah, I would try that one, because that's the one that I'm using on my PS3, and it's been very good to me. It's been a very good experience on the Samsung. Alrighty. Now, normally at this point, this is where you would go ahead and build the kernel, but I'm not going to do that here on stream because there's no reason. I just wanted to have this directory configured so that it exactly matches the kernel that we're going to be booting. You know, just for the sake of completeness, I guess. One last thing we need to do. Remember, there was a symlink in the modules directory that we copied over. That's in /lib/modules. See, there it is. This is the directory that we copied over. If you remember, there was a symlink called build, and that symlink pointed to the source code directory for our kernel. So we're going to recreate that symlink. Okay, we're going to do ln-s. The target is going to be /src. Oh no, /usr /src /linux 6.6.8. There it is. That's the directory that we're going to link to, and our link is going to be called build. So that should do it. If I relist the contents of this directory, there it is. This is the link that we just created, so that's done. And last but not least, we're going to run eselect kernel list. This will list the two kernels that I have, well, the two kernel source code directories that I have in my /usr /src directory, and we have to select one of them that Portage is going to use for when it searches for like what the kernel headers and the config file. So obviously we're going to choose number one because this is the kernel that we're going to be booting. We're going to eselect kernel set 1. Now if I run kernel list again, you will see that now there's this little star next to the kernel. That means that our kernel is set to 1. What that really means is now there's a symlink in that directory, my kernel's directory, that points to the kernel source code directory. Here, I'll show you. See, when I ran eselect kernel set, it created this symlink, and this symlink points to this directory. That's important on Gentoo because this is where Gentoo search. Well, this is where your Portage searches when it wants to find what kernel configuration you're using, and the header files for the kernel. So that's very important. Okay, our kernel messing around with the kernel is done. That's ready to boot. It's ready to go. So let's follow the next part of the instructions here. Oh yeah, J2. I have that set in my make.conf file. The PS3's PPU core is dual threaded, so generally I like to use J2 when building software on the PS3. Let's see, we can skip all this. We've already done all this. I'm not going to emerge that. This PCI utils here, I'm going to skip that because the PS3 doesn't even have a PCI bus, so that would be kind of pointless. And let's see, down here it also recommends that you emerge Dracut. Dracut is a utility for building your init ramfs files, but I found on PowerPC Gentoo this Dracut is kind of broken, or I don't know if it's broken, but it takes a really long time. It's because it downloads like BusyBox, and it compiles BusyBox and all this kind of stuff. It makes really large init ramfs files, and since I already have a init ramfs that I built myself, I'm going to skip the Dracut installation, and we can actually just skip to the next page. So we're on the home stretch now. Just a few more files to configure on the system, and we will be ready to reboot the PS3 into the new partition. We have to edit our fstab file, so let's do that. Okay, going to nano/etc/fstab. This is where you define the devices that you want your kernel to mount, or that you know, basically all the everything that you want to mount, you want to put here almost. For example, the root partition is very important. We're going to mount that at the device is /dev/ps3dd1, if I'm not mistaken. Starting to get a little bit confused here. Okay, I think it's ps3dd1. Mount point is going to be root. The file system is ext3. For mount options, I'm going to do no A time, no Dira time, and yeah, that should be good. I'm going to set these last numbers to 0 and 1. And that has to do with well, actually, this first number has to do with whether you're running like a kernel dump utility, I think. And this last number, this 1, means to like check the integrity of the drive on boot. So that's what those mean. We're also going to mount /dev/ps3dd2. That's the current, like the installation that I'm running right. Actually, you know what? We're not going to mount PS3. There's nothing here that I need, I don't think. If there's anything from this installation that I need to copy over to the new installation, then I'll just mount it manually. So forget PS3DD2. We're going to do PS3DD3, and that is our swap space. That's going to be one of our swap spaces. Mount point is none. Options are, or file system is swap. Options are SW. And this does not need to be checked at boot time, so we'll just put 00. That should be good for now. That's all we need to boot into the new system. So save that, double check, make sure that it's saved correct. Okay. Yeah, that should be all we need. That's good. That's our fstab finished. Let's see, what else do we got here? Skip all this. Oh, networking. Okay. Let's set up our host name. And change it to PlayStation. That's going to be my host name. Okay, this is important. We need to emerge this package, dhcpcd. That will get our network working. And again, this is not a very large package. This does have to be compiled, yes, but it's not very large, so this will be done pretty quick. And I'm out of coffee again, so I will be back in about 2 minutes or so. I need to go get myself another coffee. Turn that up so that it's not a silent stream. That was pretty quick. Oh, you didn't see my make.conf? Yeah, that's right. I think you joined our stream a little bit later than when I started. Here, let me show you. This is the make.conf that I use on the PS3. I left the music up too loud. Okay, yeah, my make.conf looks like this. Here are the flags that I use for compiling. I set mcpu equals cell, mtune equals cell, mnostring, and mnomultiple. That will tell the compiler not to use certain assembler opcodes that are very expensive on the PS3 or on the cell processor. They these can cause your threads to stall. So they're composite instructions that have to be decomposed. So yeah, I switched those off. Let's see. Here's my mirrors. As you can see, my make ops is set to J2. Yeah, you can set mcpu and mtune. You can set them for the cell. specifically, which is really cool. Also, under my use flags, I have a use flag for PS3. It exists. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, these are the simple like flags that I have set for getting my system started. Video cards, obviously, since in Linux you don't use the GPU. Unfortunately, on the PS3, I have that set to frame buffer FBdev. And then, yeah, the rest of this is just input devices, accept license. And down here, under features, I have all of my sandboxing turned off. That's because Portage likes to sandbox everything that it does, which is, it's good for security. I mean, it's good for system stability, right? But it's expensive. It takes extra memory, which is not good on the PS3, and it makes Portage run slow. Makes it run slower, you know, than normal on the PS3. So yeah, I turn off all the sandboxing right here on under features. But yeah, that's my make.conf file. All right, let's see where we're at. I just installed DHCPCD, and since we're on a system D system, we're gonna run systemctl enable DHCPCD like that. Okay, we can skip all this. Skip all this. And this. Okay, I'm gonna set up my hosts file. Now, your hosts file is pretty important. It's the first place your Linux system looks when you when you enter a web address, like a URL. Yeah, Dennis. I'm also a fan of Vim and VI. Unfortunately, and I don't know why this is the case, but for some reason, the stage 3 install environment for Gentoo, it doesn't come with either of those text editors. Look at this. Look at that. No VI and no Vim. Ain't that some shit? You have to use Nano, or you have to use emerge Vim during the installation. They don't supply it to you in the stage 3, and I think that's really I think that's ridiculous. Whose idea was that? Yeah, I don't like Nano. I just don't like it. All right, I'm gonna set up my my hosts file. Oh, hey, good job on the Petit boot. That's awesome. Well, unfortunately, thus far, I've never used that install USB. But let me take another look at it and see if I can't point you in the right direction. The live USB.zip. You know, if the web page ever comes up. See, if you go to download, it's going to download as live USB.zip. All right, let's take a look at it. Let's real quick. Let's see what we're working with. I'll come back to my hosts file. Let me help you out real quick. All right, I'm gonna open up a new terminal tab here. So here we're working on my laptop computer. We're not logged into the PS3 here. So if I go into my downloads directory, I should see that zip that I just downloaded. And it's called Live USB. Alright, what I'm going to do, let's create a directory called Live USB. I'm going to move that file to that directory. There it is. Let's unzip it. Okay, yeah, I was smart to move it into its own directory because yeah, all the files just unzipped into like the same directory that the archive is in. All right, now I can let me move this archive back to the parent directory. There we go. Okay, here's the contents of the Live USB. If I'm not mistaken, you can delete this macOS directory. And that leaves you with these files here. From here, if you've gotten this far, if you've got this directory with these files in it here, the first thing I would suggest you try to do is just copy these files exactly as they are, straight to the like the root directory of a USB formatted as ext2, or you could, ext3 if you want. But yeah, format a USB drive, either ext2 or ext3, and just copy these files to the root file system and try and boot that. That would be the simplest way to try it. If that doesn't work, then what you're going to probably have to do is take this Live USB directory and you're going to have to generate a ISO image from it. And to do that, you would have to install let's see if there's a utility for that. Yeah, here it is. Install this gen ISO image and use that to generate an ISO image from the Live USB directory. That would be my best guess as to how to use this installer. If that doesn't work, then maybe I can, maybe one of these days, Damien will come and hang out in my stream, and you can ask him. But if I was going to be trying out the that installer that Damien made, then that's how I would try to do it. Either copy those files to the root directory of a USB formatted as ext2, or generate an ISO image from the contents of that live USB.zip, and that should get you going. That should point you in the right direction. So, that's how I would do it anyway. Now I'm setting up all my host names for my my home network. localhost is going to be playstation.ps3linux.net. And now we're going to set up our IP addresses. By the way, don't copy what I'm doing here. You have to set up your host file for your own network with your own IP addresses. If you copy what I'm doing here, it probably won't. Well, it almost definitely won't be configured for your own network. You know, 'cause my PS3 has a reserved IP address. I set that up in my router. As a matter of fact, all my computers have reserved IP addresses, but these IP addresses they're only good on my network. They won't work outside of my network. So, you know, don't copy what I'm doing here exactly. Just, you know, change this information for whatever works for your own home network, if you know what I mean. Oh, no, actually, to be technically, I don't use IPv6 on my home network. My router doesn't even support it. I configure it just to be complete, but no, I'm not actually using IPv6 here. My router doesn't support it. Okay, there's our host file. Okay, we have to set up a password for root. Super secret password. And let's see, we got init and boot configuration. Oh yeah, we have to set up a systemd to boot for the first time, so we're gonna do this here, machine ID setup. Gonna run systemd first boot. Okay, it wants us to enter a key map. You can list them like this. Those are the key maps. I set mine to US. Let me just double check that file, make sure it got set up correctly. Ah, see, I screwed up. Good thing I checked. I don't know where that B came from, but it's supposed to be US. Okay. Well, yes, I do actually. It's not running right now. Actually, it is running right now, but I'm not using it. I have Pi-hole. Yeah, I got a aftermarket, like a home router, But I do run a DNS server, but it's a Pi-hole DNS server. I actually run it on this computer. Let me see if it's running right now. I don't think it is. Yeah, I've got the Pi-hole DNS server, but I don't have it running at the moment. Okay, we've got our key maps all set up. I'm gonna run this one right here. Systemctl preset all. Preset mode equals enable only. Okay, that will set up our services for systemd for our first time booting. And skip this last one here. Don't run that one. Okay, we need system logging, but since we're using systemd, that has logging built into it, so we can skip this part. We can install cron or cronny, that's optional. I'm gonna skip that. File indexing. This is actually nice to have. I'm gonna install this package here. Shouldn't take too long. Mlocate. Social media? Actually, believe it or not, no. Aside from, I have a, oh, is that NLS? I'm gonna turn that off. Yeah, no, I'm not on Facebook or anything. Or Twitter. I've never used Twitter. I should get on Instagram because that's where that's what everybody uses. But yeah, I don't really have any socials. I kind of live under a rock here. I'm like a cave dweller. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off this NLS use flag because that's native language support. If you want to have like error messages in any other languages other than English, then you're gonna want to leave this turned on. But I don't really need to have my error messages in any other languages, so I'm gonna turn that off. And we'll do that emerge again. Oh yeah, well I do have a GitHub. You just reminded me. Which I really should try to add more to, you know, as soon as I can. But am I signed in? Yeah. Yeah, this is my GitHub. I've got two little projects on here. They're both related to running Fedora on the PS3 because that's the distro that I've been using up until like recently when I started messing with Gentoo. But yeah, these scripts, they'll still work. I mean, if you want to use Fedora on your PS3, this one will install the Cell SDK packages, RPMs. And obviously I actually host these files on my PS3. So yeah, if you use this script, you'll be downloading files directly from my PS3. Kind of cool, right? Anyway, yeah, that's my GitHub. I'm planning to add more to it as soon as possible. Oh no! What did I do? I closed the Gentoo install manual. Let me get that back up. We're almost finished anyway. I mean, everything that we're doing now is kind of extra. Like, if I wanted to, I could reboot into the system right now and it should boot. But, yeah, I'm just installing these last few packages just because I like to have them. Okay, where were we? System logger. Oh, here we go. This is the last thing that I just ran. File indexing. We're gonna install mlocate because that's a pretty good utility to have. So that's what's installing right now. Yeah, dual boot, Gentoo and Fedora. That's how I like to have my system set up. It's not really set up that way right now. I've actually got Gentoo on both partitions, but generally I like to have Fedora 12. Which check the rest of my channel. I've got a video outlining how to install Fedora 12 on the PS3. It's one of my better videos, which is not saying much because my videos mostly suck. But yeah, I did make a video on how to install Fedora 12 on the PS3, and yeah, refer to that. But that's the way I like to have my PS3 set up. I like Fedora 12 on one partition, and I'm putting Gentoo onto the bigger partition because Gentoo is a little bit fatter than Fedora, believe it or not. I think it's because Gentoo is a lot newer. Oh, thanks, Dennis. Oh, thank you for saying that. I do want to try to like get into like try to learn how to use my editor a little bit better. As you can see, I've got Shotcut installed on my computer. This is the editor that I like to use, but I have to spend more time, you know, really getting to know the software. I don't use it nearly enough the way I should. But thank you though. Thank you for saying that, Dennis. You're very kind. Let's see, okay, we installed mlocate. Next thing is we're going to enable SSH, because pretty much all the work that I do on the PS3 is done over SSH. I'm going to skip this last service here. I don't need that. Bash completion. This is one of my favorite packages on Gentoo. Well, on Linux. Always install bash completion, because it's one of the best utilities. Oh, for code editing, I use well, I recently just started using Eclipse. Have you ever seen this? It's a pretty good IDE. Like, if you're gonna use an IDE, yeah, I've been learning how to use Eclipse. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's a Java program, so it's, you know, it's got kind of a lot of overhead, but you know, running it on a modern machine, it's really not so bad. And it's very extensible. You can install like yeah, Eclipse was originally for Java programming, but you can install the CDT extensions, and that's for programming in C or C++, you know. Yeah, it's called Eclipse CDT, and that's for doing C and C++ programming. And yeah, you download it from here, and you just install it into the Eclipse, and you know, it works pretty good. Up until recently, I've only used Vim for programming, but this last semester, I was taking a really hard programming course for Java, all about data structures and like all the different kinds of ways that you can well, yeah, you can. Oh, yeah, Vim is awesome, but I mean, you can extend Vim. You can actually, if you go through the trouble, you can actually turn Vim into a pretty decent IDE itself. But you have to install support for like language servers and things like that. And it could be a bit of a pain in the butt. Which is kind of the nice thing about Eclipse, is it's kind of got all that functionality built into it, and it came in really handy during this last semester. Like I said, I was taking a really hard Java class, and it kind of got me through it. Okay, our bash completion is done installing, and I only have one or two more packages that I want to install before we reboot. Oh, that's very cool, Dennis. This was a required class. I'm doing computer science major at the moment, and yeah, I had to take this Java course, and the God's honest truth, I don't like to talk bad about professors, but I don't think this guy gave the best instructions. Some of his instructions for the projects that we worked on were kind of vague, I think, or ambiguous, and it kind of made it really hard to write programs that, you know, that the output matched up with what it was expected. So yeah, the Eclipse IDE and also ChatGPT were the two tools, like the two most important tools that got me through this course. Yeah. I ended up with it like a B-, which is fine for me. I'll take it. Okay. We're gonna install this E2FS progs. And those are utilities for your file system, your ext file systems. Whoopsie daisy. I misspelled it. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna want to have our utilities for like for formatting ext file systems. So that's what this is for. Well, it's you gotta. I try to be like understanding. I know that in like the modern computing world, especially for professors, I mean, when it comes to like making assignments for students, I mean, especially now, you want to write something that like the students aren't able to like just plug it into ChatGPT and just copy the answers straight from the chatbot, which I'm sure, you know, students would be more than happy to do if they can. So you have to make the assignments like, you know, something that's a little bit more convoluted, something that, you know, ChatGPT would, you know, not be able to just do immediately for you. So, oh, you know what? I haven't checked my GP. I should check that. I haven't checked it since I finished that course. I'll have to look into that. Check my GPA. It's probably okay. I'm not too worried about it. When you go for a job, they don't ask you what's your GPA. I found that out. It's not a thing to stress over. I'm just disabling native language support on this package because I don't need it. Oh, you know what? But I do want fuse. Crap. Let's try that again. Let's turn on fuse. Okay, now we're gonna install E2FS progs. And then I guess the last thing that I want to install before we reboot is the utilities for working with DOS file systems. I think the package is called DOSFS tools or something. Yeah, this one here, DOSFS tools. This is going to be the last thing that we install. And then we're going to reboot. Yeah, that's going to be the last thing. Then we're going to reboot into the new installation. Oh, hey, you're from Singapore. Wow. Wow, that's far away. I hear it's beautiful, though. I hear Singapore is a gorgeous country. I'm from New Jersey. I'm on the east coast of United States. I'm about 20 miles outside of New York. Well, maybe 50 miles outside of New York City. 3.88. Hey, good job. That's awesome. Oh, is it humid there? Huh. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that I have a few minutes before this is finished installing. And I'm really fiending for a cigarette right now, so I'm gonna go have a smoke. Bear with me. Give me about Give me about 5 minutes, and when I get back, we will install our last package and hopefully boot into our new Gentoo installation on the PlayStation 3. So, I'll be right back. Room tour. Yeah, I should do something like that soon. You don't want to see my room's a mess. My life is a mess. As long as my PS3 boots Linux, it's okay. It looks like we're on, oh good, we're on package 3 out of 3, so that's almost it for this install. Like I said, we're going to do one more install before we reboot, and then hopefully if we did everything right, you know, fingers crossed, we'll boot into the brand new Gentoo installation. Ugh, I'm trying not to think about school. Next semester I have to take chemistry too. Which wouldn't be so bad, except for the fact that when I took chemistry 1, it was like more than a year ago. Because just, that's how, my schooling is all screwed up. But, yeah, so I hope I haven't like forgotten everything that I learned in Chem 1. I think it's kind of stupid that I have to take 2 sciences as a computer science major. It's kind of ridiculous, I think, but whatever. I have to take chemistry 2 to get my degree, so maybe I'll get a tutor. See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, why do I have to take? Well, it doesn't have to be chemistry. I mean, I could take 2 physics classes, or I could take 2 biology classes. But since I've already took Chem 1, I might as well finish with Chem 2. Yeah, I think it's stupid that I gotta take this course. It's gonna be hard too. I'm not looking forward to that. It is. I think it's a scam. I think it's just a way for the colleges to make more money. Because you gotta, These courses aren't exactly cheap, you know? Oh, hey Josh, I'm into like anime as well. I like manga. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to watch. I like the old school. I like Akira. Akira's a freaking awesome movie. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel. Right? Hey, what's happening, Ashlyn? What's crack-a-lackin'? How's everything going? Yeah, I think one of the cool things about Akira is it was like one of the first like animated movies that they used a lot of like computer aided design or whatever, computer animation, and it just came out so beautiful. Oh, hey Dennis, I'm a big fan of racing games too. Recently I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon, I think it's called, on the Xbox. But one of my favorite racing games is Need for Speed on the PS2. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Here, I'll show you. Now, since I'm on my old laptop, and this laptop is not as it doesn't have the same amount of oomph as the laptop I was using the other day, where I was playing RPCS3 Batman on it. But I should have enough power to run this game. Maybe. We'll see what happens. You know what? Let me after this install. Yeah, we'll check out Need for Speed. Yeah, see, this install's almost finished, and then we'll install. Oh, you like Need for Speed too? Yeah, that's a great game. I love the one on the PS2 though. It's a big time waster for me. Okay. Yeah, after I installed this DOSFS tools, so I can mount fat file systems and stuff. That's the last thing that we're gonna install. That's the last thing that we need to do. So let me get that started. Oh, Midnight Club 3. I never played that. Is that available for the PS2? Maybe I'll install it. Okay, I'm happy with these use flags. So I'm just gonna let this install. Alright. Yeah, check this out. Hopefully it runs okay. Give it a shot. Oh crap, let me turn down my audio real quick because I think there's copyrighted music in this game. Oh, hell yeah, Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer! That's another classic. Oh, so far so good. It's running okay. Let me turn down the audio real quick so YouTube doesn't spank my ass. Believe it or not, yes. There's a Dave and Buster's in Philadelphia. Actually, that's the closest one to me. But yeah, I've actually been there. It's a really cool place. Here we go. Yeah, I'm in a Lotus. All right. Or a Lotus clone. Hey, it's running okay. Even with OBS. Here we go. Get out of my way. Alright, now I'm concentrating. I'm concentrating very hard. I don't want to lose. Oh no, I'm gonna hit the wall. Oh. I turned down the audio so we can have sound. There we go. Quit crashing into me. Oh no, I'm in 7th place. I'm doing terrible. Oh, I hit a cat. I didn't know that there was other cars on this course. That's not fair. Yeah, this is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit on PCSX2. Yeah, isn't that pretty? I love the PS3 above everything else, but PS2 was freaking awesome. I actually did more gaming on the PS2. I was not so much a gamer by the time the PS3 came out, and I was in college, so I didn't have so much time for games. My PS3 when I was in college, I brought it to well, I'm still in college, but I'm kind of in college for the second time. It's a long story, but yeah, when I was living in a dorm, I brought my PS3 with me, but for the most part, all I did was use it for watching like Netflix while I was doing homework. Get out of my way. so cool. This asshole passed me again. God damn it. Move. Looks like our package is almost done installing. I wonder if I can finish the race first. How many more laps do I have? Oh, is this finish line? Yeah, do another lap. Crap, I don't see anybody in front of me. Am I in first place? Oh yeah, that's the thing about the backwards compatible PS3s, like the launch models. They used a different, they used like an older process for their GPU dies, I think, and the cell chip, I think, too, had a different nanometer process. And yeah, they're not as efficient. They use a lot. They use more wattage than the later models. I'm kind of lucky. The one that I have, in a sense, the model that I have is not backwards compatible, but it uses less power than a little bit less power than the launch model. Oh no, I'm not in first place. I'm like way in fourth. Crap. Honest, I'm usually really good at this game. Wow, they're way ahead of me. Damn it. At least I'm not crashing anymore. Spoke too soon. Well, that's the other nice thing about running Linux on your PS3. Since you never use the GPU, the GPU is virtually turned off. I mean, for all intents and purposes. Yeah, the GPU just sits there idle. It's not generating more heat, and I think that's what kills PS3s oftentimes is the heat from the GPU. Because the fan doesn't cool the GPU as much. The fan's under the cell CPU, and it kind of it cools the GPU kind of like secondarily, I guess. It doesn't get cooled as much. Yeah, the GPU throws a lot of heat. So yeah, when you're in Linux, you're not using the GPU. One of the quirks of the PS3. But yeah, when you're in Linux, it runs pretty cool like the entire time. My fan only kicks up whenever I got network activity sometimes, or like if I'm compiling something huge sometimes. Generally, the fan stays low. Okay. Looks like our install is finished, so we're ready to reboot the PlayStation 3. off our video games here. It's enough of that nonsense. And turn down the audio a little bit so I'm not talking over it so much. Okay. All right, here goes. Hold on, let me turn my phone camera back on. I had to turn it off because my phone was dying. See how that looks? Bring up OBS. Okay, that is the image from my iPhone. Now let me try to bring up the HDMI input from my PS3. Oh crap! I have to enable it. One moment, bear with me. I'm trying to turn on the HDMI input from the PS3 from the cam link. There it is. All right. Okay, so here's my PS3's, this is the screen that's on my PS3 right now. And get my wireless keyboard here. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. And before I forget, I'm gonna unmount the Chrooting environment that we're in, and like this, and we're gonna U-mount the Gentoo partition. Target is busy. Well, that doesn't really matter. Okay. All right, let's I'm gonna log out of here and switch over to the PS3, and we're gonna reboot it. Like so. Okay, now here's Boot, our bootloader. There are two boot options here, and the one that we just installed will be this top one here, this one that's labeled Gentoo 1. I'm going to try that one, see if it boots. Okay, so far so good. Oh, that's what I like to see. Well, there you have it. We've now booted into our brand new Gentoo installation here on the PlayStation 3. And I gotta do one thing that I forgot to do. I should have done before I rebooted. I'm gonna set up my SSH so that I can log in as root, because normally you can't do that. And I'm going to change permit root login to yes. So this way I can log into my PS3 over the SSH as the root user, which is the only user on the system at the moment. And I'll be able to continue setting up my brand new Gentoo installation. There you have it. I think that's going to be it for this stream. If you want to continue watching me set up the brand new Gentoo system on the PlayStation 3, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to shut down this stream because this stream has already gone long enough. And then I'm going to restart a new stream. So if look for my next stream that I'm going to start. And yeah, I'm just going to continue on with my installation. So there you have it. That's the Gentoo install on the PlayStation 3 when you're installing from another running Linux system that's on a separate partition, which I can now probably format because I don't really need it anymore. And I'll probably end up putting Fedora 12 onto that partition. Anyway, alright everybody, thank you for watching my stream. I hope you learned some cool stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Always remember to stay out of trouble. And have a wonderful day.